Very, very infrequently do you have the second chance to kind of go back and revisit. I wonder if you treat it more that way or more as, look, new year, new team.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty healthy combination of the two. We play such great teams in our conference. Most of them we play twice every year. So in some ways it feels similar. Say we're playing UCLA again this year. They are the same team, but they also have added some new pieces or, added some new dimensions to their game. So approaching Iowa is very similar in that regard. Another great team, very similar to who they were, but also have added some new things as well. So similar approach, a little bit of both.
I think a little bit of both. We've watched some film from last year, just a few clips, just reminding us of, how they attacked us, how we could attack them. But we also see it as a new game, because it is. And we've been through a whole season since then. And I think we're just very confident where we're in right now. So we're just taking it as that, just another game this season.
Of course, we looked and reflected on last year's game just to get a feel for it again, but we're a much better team than we were last year, and I think they arguably probably are too. So it is a new game, and we're just basing it off of this year as much as we are last.
I know you guys, I believe, at halftime going into it. What are, if you identify one thing you want to do better and one thing you want to take out of last year's game?
I think overall, just controlling what we can control. Is the biggest thing. I know we, had a lot of missed opportunities in that game that were in our control, just being focused and finishing free throws, layups, simple things that, count and add up. So I just think controlling what we can control and focusing on the details more than anything.
To what extent could you use what West Virginia did against Iowa as any kind of defensive blueprint for that game? Obviously Clark still got 32, but it seemed they were able to slow them down and frustrate her to some extent.
Yeah, I think every team's game plan is really, at least for us, every team's game plan should be based on their own personnel. We do have some similar pieces to West Virginia. We also are a different team in a lot of ways. So, we're looking at every game that Iowa's played, and trying to take bits and pieces. Maybe this is something that could be effective. Maybe that's something that, could be disruptive in some way. So certainly watch that game and most of them, to be honest.
How do you guys sort of maybe try to limit a little bit of their three-point shooting and try for that not to be a deciding factor in the game?
Yeah, they are going to take a lot of threes. That's their offense and their transition offense, and that's not something we haven't seen this year. So I think we know how to defend that, and you just really have to give them looks that they're not as comfortable with. Like you can't give up wide open threes because they're just too good at making those. So I think we have everything we need to go toe to toe with them. But obviously, if it's a shootout, I think it's to their advantage.
Do you see in the West Virginia film and the Holy Cross, they were very physical with Iowa, really disrupted their offense. Did you see how advantageous using your physicality is, and having played against Caitlin before, how that can help in this matchup?
Yeah, I definitely watched that game and saw how they frustrated them on the defense. And I think that we're a really good defensive team, and we're not the same as West Virginia, but I think you could see in the K-State game that just our defense can win games. That's the mentality we're going in with, and hopefully we'll be able to control the physical aspect. We don't want to get in foul trouble, but obviously with a good player like Caitlin Clark, you have to be some sort of physical with her, but just trying to be smart about it.
Out of that West Virginia game, that was the slowest paced game Iowa had played all year, and that game's tied with 3 minutes to go. As somebody who kind of drives the engine for you guys, how do you go about establishing pace early, and do you guys look to play at a slower, more deliberate pace the way you guys have for most of the year?
I don't think we play at a slow pace. I think we like to push it in transition and run our offense and stuff like that. I think, when we're able to get out in transition, we're pretty good at that. And it's just we have so many weapons that it just opens up the floor for everybody. And so I think we're our best in transition. So I don't think it's any, different mentality going into this game about slowing the game down. It's just we're going to go out there and try to do what we do, which is push and transition and play at our pace. So that's the plan.
It's possible you could be facing almost kind of a road atmosphere tomorrow with people going crazy every time Jaylyn does something. How do you and your players, how does your team kind of deal with that? Which might be a really Iowa-friendly or Caitlin Clark-friendly crowd tomorrow.
Yeah, we definitely are anticipating that type of crowd. It felt like that in Seattle last year, and that was the other side of the country. And so, yeah, we're expecting that. It's a great atmosphere always when you're going to play in an environment like that. Very similar to Kansas State last weekend, very similar to most Pac-12 road games this year where attendance was, through the roof and playing really great crowds and really hostile environments. So I don't think it'll really be any different. And it's something that we have enough experience with and we're excited about.